What if I told you that this simple thing is the sole reason humanity hasn't gone extinct? Welcome to Amirly. I'm Amir. Here we give you the core ideas and weird facts without the boring stuff. And this little troublemaker is my assistant, Lily. So, how did the humble toilet save humanity from itself? Thinking the Middle Ages were all knights and romance? No. The cities were literally open trash dumps. The advanced technology of the day? Throw it out the window and pray it doesn't hit your neighbor. To be fair, they did have a very advanced warning system. By law, you had to shout, "Gardy-loo!" before throwing your work out the window.
Cardillo.
Yeah, unfortunately, they usually yelled it while it was hitting your head. Very helpful. You might think high heels and wide-brimmed hats were created for high fashion. Nope, they were survival gear. People wore giant hats to stop surprises from hitting their faces, and high heels to stay above the, well, green soup in the streets. But the result? The waste leaked into the drinking water. European cities became massive factories for cholera and the plague.
Chapter 2: The Sponge of Doom.
Think the Middle Ages were bad? Let's go back to ancient Rome. They actually had plumbing and public toilets. Sounds civilized, right? Wrong. There were no stalls. You just sat right next to your neighbor to chat about politics and gladiators while doing your business. But the worst part? No toilet paper. Instead, the whole room shared one sea sponge attached to a stick. Yes, shared. But wait, sharing a sponge wasn't even the deadliest part. Because they didn't have our modern plumbing magic, explosive methane gas would build up inside the sewers. Sometimes, the toilets would literally erupt in balls of fire while people were sitting on them. And if the exploding toilets didn't get you, the giant sewer rats biting you from below definitely would. It was so terrifying that the Romans actually prayed to Cloacina, the goddess of the sewer, just to survive a bathroom trip.
And now, prepare yourselves for the epic saga of royal mishaps. Chapter 3: Royal Fails.
Humanity finally decided to invent a proper toilet. In 1592, a guy named Sir John Harington invented the first flush toilet for his godmother, Queen Elizabeth I. Sounds like a happy ending? Not quite. This thing was a disaster. First, it needed 7.5 gallons of water per flush, which poor servants had to carry by hand. But the real problem? It was loud. When you pulled the chain, it sounded like a cannon going off, letting the entire palace know exactly what the queen was doing. She was so embarrassed, she barely used it. The queen's toilet was a smelly failure because the pipe went straight down, allowing all the terrible sewer odors to come right back up into the room. But in 1775, a Scottish watchmaker named Alexander Cumming changed human history by doing one incredibly simple thing. He bent the pipe. By creating an S-shape, a small pool of water stayed trapped in the curve. That little puddle acts like a heroic bouncer at a club, completely blocking the evil sewer gases from coming up. Pure genius.
You've got to be kidding me! Just wait until you see my plan, my friend.
So we fixed the indoor toilet with the magic S-trap. But where did all that flushed water go? Straight into the River Thames. By the summer of 1858, London was hit by a massive heat wave. The river essentially cooked, turning into one giant boiling toilet bowl. The smell was so apocalyptic that the politicians in Parliament literally had to soak their curtains in bleach just to survive the stench. They were ready to abandon the entire city. But then, a hero emerged from the foul fog. A civil engineer with a truly magnificent mustache, Joseph Bazalgette. Bazalgette didn't just propose building a few new pipes. He designed an entire underground city of sewers to catch the waste before it reached the river. We're talking 82 miles of giant brick intercepting sewers and over 1,000 miles of smaller street sewers. Think about the smell of digging that much raw sewage by hand. It was a monumental, disgusting job, but someone had to do it. But London isn't flat, so he couldn't just rely on gravity. Bazalgette built these incredible, ornate pumping stations, which literally looked like Victorian cathedrals, housing massive steam engines to lift the sewage up so it could flow to the treatment plants. And here's the single greatest engineering decision of the century. When calculating the size needed for the pipes, Bazalgette doubled it, and then added another 50% just for good measure. He was criticized for overbuilding, but his incredible foresight meant the system could handle London's exploding population for another 100 years. And this brings us to the crazy truth. The toilet didn't just save lives, it built our modern world. Without indoor plumbing, skyscrapers and crowded cities would be literally impossible. Imagine living on the 150th floor of the Burj Khalifa and having to carry a bucket of your own waste down the stairs every single morning. So, next time you're in the bathroom, take a moment of silence, respect the S-trap, and thank Joseph Bazalgette's magnificent mustache. If you enjoyed this weird journey through history, subscribe and hit the bell. And don't forget to check the historical sources down below. Peace!